welcome to the ProView Sports Report. We are here at the Studio 519 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Aaron Rivera along with Steve Davis. And Steve, a big week of high school sports in the state of New Mexico. Lots of action that went down this week.
Great action, and we're going to do a lot of highlights of a lot of the games, but a lot of good things are happening, and it was a great start to the new year for football.
Yeah, great.
And volleyball, and I guess soccer starting.
Yeah, soccer starting as well. The Metro tournament's going down right now. We have to actually take a real quick break right now because I have a technical issue I got to fix real quick, but we'll come right back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations. Or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Sorry, folks, forgot to turn on some of my monitors. But anyway, Steve, let's take a look at the first game, one of the biggest games of the week, La Cueva versus Volcano. We talked about it last week, how this is going to be a huge matchup and a huge test for the Volcano Vista Hawks, taking on the new quarterback of the La Cueva Bears. So it's Monty Melendez for La Cueva, Spirit Cook for Volcano. Both of them taking over, and we'll see Spirit Cook right here. Starts things off, well, not a bad start to the day, Steve. 61-yard touchdown.
Yeah, really very explosive. I mean, just start, that was my concern. Volcano, in the history of playing La Cueva, they always got off to a quick start.
Mm-hmm. And so you see their defense also getting off to a quick start. Melendez trying to get something going, but Owen Nichols gets that sack. Second quarter, we see Spirit Cook right here, and when he's in, this offense is explosive. He hits that one to Zachary Corona, and then he will find Ismael Melendez III. And Volcano, a 14-point lead early on, but La Cueva not out of things yet. 8:30 in the second. Luca Barreras gets going for La Cueva right there. Then Melendez will find Saunders, the other running back for La Cueva, 24 yards, and puts them right on the doorstep. They'll hand it off one more time to Barreras. Barreras, not an easy way into the end zone, but finds his way in. They get the ball back after taking Volcano out of it, and he puts a long one to get them into the end zone here. On the doorstep, though, ball sails over Melendez's head. He's just going to have to hop onto it, and they will be forced to settle for a long field goal attempt. 41 yards, and it's good. Perfect look there. And then here's the ensuing kickoff, Steve. This was where things started to go awry for Volcano, and it started to look like things might not work out. Steps out of bounds on the 1. They end up giving it back to La Cueva with less than a minute to go. Melendez, he finds Barros. Barros up to the 15.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Barloff.
And they get into the touchdown. Barrera slashes one in to the 1, then a pass to Cash Brewer, and La Cueva with 8 seconds left take a lead.
It looks like the momentum's going to be all La Cueva, and then I tell you what, and then Volcano comes out in the second half. And
yeah, like you said, the defense comes in here, smothers it in. Cook steps back, finds Aurelius Wiley, who would come in as the quarterback not too long after this. In fact, this is the last play we see Spirit Cook in. He takes the ball forward. After this, it's all Wiley as the quarterback. Wiley, he'll hand this one off to D'Angelo Mitchell. Mitchell powers that one in. Volcano takes a 21-17 lead. But, third quarter, Steve, nothing's over yet.
I tell you, when you have a rivalry game, and this is where I think Volcano grows up in this game. So.
Yeah, they really do. You see Melendez here gets the big slash, but that's, it doesn't stop them. They end up stuffing La Cueva at the 24, and so they ended up going for it on fourth there. Didn't work out. You see Melendez here as we switch quarters. He sets him up again. This screen pass over to Barreras, but they're still forced to settle for a 20-yard field goal. Again, it's good. Now it's a 1-point game, 7:51 to go. On the ensuing kickoff, Volcano, little sloppy with the ball. Ball comes out. La Cueva almost get this ball back, but Volcano are able to sit on top of it. They end up punting it back. Melendez and company start in their own territory. They're getting a little slash up there, but they have to give the ball back. Here's Wiley at quarterback, gives it to Mitchell. And Mitchell with 2 minutes to go. Leroy at this time saying you got to stay in bounds, but when you flip the field like that, works out every time. So with a minute left to go, Volcano punts it back to La Cueva, and a perfect looking spot for this. Inside of the 15-yard line. La Cueva try to get going. Melendez booting out to his right side, but he's chased down here. Now 26 seconds left to go. Melendez looking for something to do, and Alvin Gomez is the one who finds something to do. Now 5 seconds left to go. Melendez will get this pass off, but it doesn't matter. You see the clock there hit 0. Volcano Vista, their first win over La Cueva since 2021. They win that one 21-20. And Steve, you talked about it last week on this show. Volcano really needed to step up. That was a huge game for them, and to come out the victors is massive.
Well, I made the statement that they needed to play for 4 quarters. Okay, they've always gave La Cueva a deal, and then they've seemed, for some reason, crazy plays and things in the last 3 or 4 years. And this year they played 4 quarters and came through. And the question is their quarterback I think he's out for the year. So.
Well, hopefully not for them, because Spirit Cook looked really dynamic for that Volcano side. When he was in, that was a huge team. And you mentioned playing 4 quarters. They didn't play very good at the end of the second, and yet, as you mentioned, they come in, and instead of, in the past it seemed like, Volcano in the 4th quarter there, when they punt the ball back to La Cueva, they let La Cueva drive down the field. La Cueva can kick that game-winning field goal. This time, the sacks, the stuffs.
Well, their defense stepped up in the deal. I mean, and their offense played enough to keep them in the game.
Yeah.
Or to win the game.
So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at another game that went down to the wire. We're going to look at Cibola versus Albuquerque High School, as this is a big test. The start of the David Howes era, the start of the Hayes Baum era for Albuquerque High School. Andre Martin, who split snaps last year, is starting as the quarterback. 4th and 2 in Cibola territory. Bad snap. Martin not able to get the yardage. It's a turnover on downs. Gives it back to the Cibola Cougars. And it was a close one on that look. So now Hayes Baum with the ball. He boots out to the right, finds a big pass to Jeremiah Gutierrez to keep them going. Then it's 4th and 3, a handoff to Emmanuel Apodaca in Albuquerque territory. Apodaca able to get the first down. You see the measurement there, just the nose of the football. That's all you need, and they get it. First down for Cibola. This will set up the drive to keep going. 2nd and goal at the 2. Emmanuel Apodaca slams his way on in, and the Cibola Cougars, David Howes era, starts off well with a touchdown. Then Albuquerque High School get the ball back, forced to punt, and look at this bomb, Steve.
It just keeps on going, doesn't it?
Just goes over the man's head, and what a punt. What a setup. So Cibola getting the ball inside their own 5. Doesn't really slow down Hayes Baum, though.
I tell you what, he looked very composed in this game. I got to watch both games on Comcast Channel 26. And it was just intriguing to watch.
You see Hayes Baum there with that big run, and then later in the drive from the 43-yard line, Baum, boom, knocks a man down, keeps going. Looks like, basically they can't stop him here early on. And so Hayes Baum, the big Superman celebration. So Albuquerque High School now need a response. It's 14-0. Martin Booting around, and he finds Juan Carlos Landeros. Landeros runs down the field, gets 47 yards on that catch. And if it works once, Martin looks to Landeros again. This one a huge aired-out shot and finds Juan Carlos for a 20-yard touchdown grab. Albuquerque get ball back, and it's the end of the half. Launch it up, and who comes up? There's Hayes Baum. The opposing quarterback intercepts Andre Martin.
Tell you what, he's a player. I just his size and his speed and just his charisma on the football field.
Yeah, he's looking good. Headed to New Mexico next year. So second half, Albuquerque from their 6, and Alberto Landeros, big 45-yard run, gets them into position. But they sit at a 4th and 8 here. Andre Martin finds Liam Smart Saunders on the 4th down for a 21-yard gain, and then now they'll be set up. A couple more plays later, they cap it off. Here's the closing moments of the 3rd, and Hayes Baum, there's his first mistake of the day. Pass bobbled, and James Montano will catch it for Albuquerque High School, who tied things up 14-0. 2nd and 21 on the ensuing drive. Damian Suarez unblocked up the middle. Drops a big sack on Albuquerque High School. They'll go for the field goal here, and it is good. Gabriel Fernandez from 35 yards out. Then Terry Mays in at quarterback for Cibola from the 31-yard line. Bombs one to Danny Triplett. Triplett rushing up the field. It's a 69-yard touchdown run on that reception for Terry Mays to Danny Triplett. Now we're deep into the 4th quarter. 4th and long for Albuquerque High School. Martin looking around under pressure here. He's going to just launch this one up, and Ryan Gunn finds that ball. Seems like things could be over here. Cibola leading by 4. But after bleeding the clock down to 1, they're forced to punt. Not a big punt. The opposite of what we saw earlier in the game for Albuquerque. So the Bulldogs, they need a touchdown to win this game. First pass. Gets some yardage here, and Smart Saunders makes the smart move and goes out of bounds. Second pass of this drive. Look, clock is running down. Hits Romeo Ellis, breaks a couple of tackles, and Romeo Ellis with 40 seconds left to go gets the 6 points. Cibola, no time left in this one. Hayes Baum bouncing around to the outside. First pass, incomplete. 8 seconds. This is Hail Mary time right now. Hayes Baum launches this one up. It's intercepted. And the Albuquerque High School Bulldogs, a great win for them with that.
Great win. I mean, what a great comeback. And two teams that fought to the end. And I tell you, it's too bad somebody had to lose that game because it was just well played.
Absolutely. And you got to look for Cibola. You look at the start of the David Howes era. A very competitive team. Yeah, last year they beat Albuquerque High School, but what they've been looking for in Cibola is to have the team be competitive all the way to the end.
Very, very impressive. I mean, I watched the game and it was like, that was one of the better games, as you said, of the week.
Well, we've got another game coming up in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at the top 10 plays of the week, brought to you by Everguard Roofing and Solar.
27. Jaramillo takes the shotgun snap, finds Gonzalez again. Gonzalez with some space in the turf, makes a guy miss, makes another one miss, and he's in for 6.
On 2nd and 2, 3 down linemen. Montalagno back to pass. Throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! What a throw from Montalagno.
Fair Cook, handoff bounce. No, he holds on to it. Oh, look at this, breaks away. Watch out, it's a foot race. Coming on the edge, is they going to catch him? Touchdown, Spirit Cook.
A couple of times, 3rd down and 8. Carpenter takes the handoff, gets it to Flakes on the edge. Flakes shuffles out of the first guy. He's got the first down. Flakes still going. Curtis Flakes dances through. Now Curtis Flakes trying to work his way down the field, and he's got another touchdown. 69 yards on a pass to Curtis Flakes the third.
Loading up. Oh, he's wide open in space. Can he drop it in the bucket again? Yes. And Moorhead's going to hit the turbo button down the sideline, and nobody's going to catch him. 88-yard bomb to Jahari Moorhead.
Rolling out to his right, he's going to run. Good speed by Baum as he gets inside the 30, still on his feet, and he is going to get 6. Touchdown, Sevala. 43 yards for Hayes Baum.
They handed to Zach. He's an Eagles fan from thick and thin. He's there when they're at their worst and their best. Moorhead with some room. Look out, and he could be gone. Yes, turbo, jet, touchdown. It's the third one for Moorhead. This one's on the ground for 80 yards.
Ball, he will hand it off to Herschel Holloway Jr. Holloway Jr. works his way to the outside. Holloway Jr. gets the edge. He's got a first down and more. Holloway Jr. is off to the races. And it is a 70-yard touchdown to start the day and start the season for Herschel Holloway Jr.
Must be empty gun for Salzado. Salzado backs the pass. Throws over the middle. Caught by Tapia. Touchdown! Oh my goodness. Who would have thought that? The Hornets had not struck on a passing game almost all night long.
21-17. And Martin back to pass. He's got time. He's going to flip it over the middle. That's a catch. And still on his feet, breaking free and scoring. Touchdown, Albuquerque High.
Welcome back here to the ProView Sports Report. Aaron Rivera with Steve Davis. And I mean, that top 10, Steve, we got to see there was a ton of great games this last week. I mean, what a first week of the season for the football schedule. Everything was tight, lots of big plays. Sports is back.
Well, it couldn't, usually I'm the one who's always complaining about lopsided scores and everything. And a lot of these games came down to the end, and it just goes to show you, prove me wrong.
Well, speaking of games that came down to the end, let's take a look at Monzano versus Highland. So our director, Alden Iowani, got lucky. He got 2 games that went down to the wire. Monzano and Highland. Highland, they lost Mumba, who was their stellar back last year, and so they've got to replace him. Starting things off, a little mistake there as the ball is fumbled. So not a great way to kick off the season for Coach Lovato. So now Bodie True for Monzano is able to find that ball over to Aiden Erickson, and look at that, Steve, just powers his way through. Now Highland need a response. They'll give the ball to Anchando. Anchando, he rolls over the tackler right here, never actually hits the ground. Anchando will rush his way through for the 42-yard touchdown. Gives Highland a 6-6 tie, and then why not just go right back to Anchando? So lost Mumba, doesn't matter. Another great runner for Highland is born. Anchando, back-to-back 40-plus yard touchdowns for him.
Downplayed this kid. He thought he could do something, but
so now Monzano, they are set to go for it on 4th. Isaiah Jeremiah is going to get that one, but then all of a sudden it's knocked out of his hands as Isaiah Jeremiah for Highlands knocks it out. Broken up pass play to Santiago Clement. They're able to find this one. Into the second half we go. It's 6-12. Get that ball to Nick Barella. Bodie True, he will find Vince Varela on that bomb, and it's intercepted.
And return it down the left side
so they turn it back over
and still on his feet. And he guessed on that.
Highland
You're
have the
throwing into
ball
double
back.
coverage
They've
there.
got this 6-12 lead. They're into opponent's territory.
Lozano back
Dancing
pass.
around with this
He's
one.
got a
That one
receiver
launched
open,
up, but
intercepted.
sent right back
Intercepted.
over to
Down the left
Manzano.
sideline with the block into Highland territory. That's what the Monarchs needed right there.
I tell you, interesting back and forth.
So then that will set up Bodie True. He's bouncing around here, and he's looking for Jacob Vasquez.
Throws. Complete.
He finds him there
Looked like
deep.
True was going to take off and run.
Sorry, that was Varela on that one. They'll fumble the ball back, though. Highland get the ball. They fumble it. Manzano now have the ball deep in Highland territory. Again, we're now here pushing on the fourth quarter. This is the touchdown pass to Jacob Vasquez. He bounces through that first man and able to find his way in. We've got a tie ball game going into the fourth.
8-yard touchdown pass after the.
So they'll hand this ball off to Anchondo. Anchondo jumps over the pile. Again, a great running back is born again at Highland. And so they're in good position, and yet another fumble. So that's 3 giveaways by the Highland side, Steve. I mean, they could have potentially won this one. So they'll get the ball back.
Throws it down the left side.
Big pass to Broden Price for Manzano, puts them into Highland territory. But it's 3rd and 15. True trying to bounce around, nowhere to go, and he is stuffed up. It's going to be right at the halftime. So Tapia and Highland, they're driving here. They're pushing down the field. They're killing that clock down. You see there's 2 minutes here, a couple of runs, and now there's 25 seconds. So with 25 seconds, George Salzano on 4th down finds Jose Tapia. 20 seconds left. Touchdown for the Highland Hornets. It's 18-12. Highland come out of that one the winners, and I think for Coach Lovato, dream start to the season. Not only having a great running back again, which Coach Lovato loves having those, but you get the win on a pass.
Well, with no time on the clock, almost.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
you know,
time.
this is just a great weekend of football, and now we start the next new week.
Yeah, we start the next week. Well, we're going to talk about all the final scores and our schedule for this week when we come back here on the ProView Sports Report.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your surprisingly great race, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm's there.
Hello and welcome back here, ProView Sports Report. Aaron with Steve Davis. And Steve, let's take a look at those football scores for this week because, as we mentioned, a lot of great games this last weekend. Let's take a look at all of them. So on Thursday, Bernalillo barely beating Valley. You saw them on the top 10. Volcano beating La Cueva, and then Manzano and Highland. I got that score wrong on here. I'm not sure why. But then on Friday, a big slate of games. Piedra Vista came from behind, beat Sandia 26-20. Hobbs and Lovington, kind of a rivalry match. Obviously not the same classification, but 41-13. Albuquerque beating Cibola 24-21. And how about your Clovis Wildcats there, Steve?
I saw that. I mean, it made me feel proud, and and then while we're at it, James Otis and Sebastian Noel. You look at these scores; they're tied in the first week.
Tied out of the first week.
I think they were 18 and I can't remember 18-2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and it was tough for them picking, and you can tell looking at these scores, like Aztec beating Rio Grande. That's one you would have thought, but Santa Rosa, Texaco. That's one I want to look at down there. 22-15. Santa Rosa beating Texaco. That's a game that we're probably going to be seeing in November again. Los Lunas losing to Roswell 27-8. On the Saturday slot, St. Pius beating West Mesa 47-29. Cleveland goes down to the Field of Dreams, beats Centennial 55-42. That was another big game this weekend. Hope Christian beating Del Norte. Moriarty and Albuquerque Academy. Academy making a big statement, beating them 42-21. Moriarty usually doesn't even let teams score more than like 15, 20 points. So that's a big statement for Academy. And then Goddard beating Portales 41-6. The Rockets might be back this season, Steve.
You always expect something good from Roswell. So
now let's take a look at the volleyball games we had this week as well. So Springer, Roy Mascaro, that's a big rivalry game. Springer winning that one 3-2. Albuquerque High School starting off the season well with a 3-0. Rio Grande and El Dorado went to 5 sets. Valley beats Highland 3-0. On the Friday, there was only one big game. That was Manzano beating West Mesa 3-2. Big for them. Saturday, as we've got tournaments and other things going on, Escalante and Jal go to 5 sets, 3-2 for Jal. Mayfield beats Carlsbad 3-2. That's going to be a big one down south when it comes time for playoffs. And then Bernalillo beating Bloomfield 3-0. Good for that Bernalillo side, who's only getting better as the years are going along. Tuesday, we had a lot of games. Of course, Tuesday's a big volleyball day. Pecos beats Escalante. Valley beats Atrisco Heritage. And Steve, Atrisco looked really, really good in that game. Ton of blocks. They had something like 15, 16 blocks in that game. They just got to find a way to close out the sets because they were in it every single one of them. Santa Fe Prep beating Cottonwood Classical 3-2. Cleveland knocking Albuquerque off 3-0. Artesia beats Carlsbad 3-1. That's a team that potentially in the 4A could be fighting for a spot in the state finals. Volcano Sandia, huge game, 3-2. Volcano wins that one. St. Pius here on the NFHS Network won 3-0 over Cibola. And then St. Michael's against Los Alamos 3-1. That's their first game of the season. St. Michael's, Steve, are going for their 4th straight state title and looking real strong coming out of the gates here. So, these are all the games for volleyball. We've got some great volleyball action coming your way this week as well because guess what? We got to start it out. New Mexico Highlands had their first volleyball game of the season. It was an exhibition game, so we had that one. But then also we're going to have our first Western New Mexico game coming up on Saturday. They play Adams State. Here's our full schedule for this coming week. Tonight we'll have football. The Bernalillo Spartans taking on the Highland Hornets. That's on Game Vision at 7 o'clock. I'll be there for that one. Cibola Cougars and Sandia Matadors will be here on Comcast Channel 26 at 7 p.m. We'll also have some volleyball action. I believe they switched the game to Rio Rancho, but it's St. Pius versus Rio Rancho. Should be an exciting one. Tomorrow, a big game. The La Cueva Bears, coming off that loss to Volcano Vista, will be on My 50 playing against Pinnacle Pioneers out of Arizona. Your Clovis Wildcats will be playing the Rio Rancho Rams at 7 p.m. in Rio Rancho. Manzano takes on Rio Grande. Mayfield takes on West Mesa. And you can see all the rest of this schedule. Saturday we've got a couple of games, including that Western game, which will be right here on Comcast Channel 26. And then some big volleyball games next week. Albuquerque High versus Volcano Vista. Cleveland versus La Cueva in volleyball. Those are going to be some massive matchups. Huge ones to watch out for. You can catch all of that action on Game Vision, on the NFHS Network, and all the games here on Comcast 26. So another big week ahead of us, Steve.
I tell you, and I looked at that schedule, and I was just, how do we do it? How do we do it? How do we get it done? So, no, it's just a great week.
Lots of coffee. That's the answer.
A lot of coffee. So.
Well, we want to thank you so much for tuning in here to the ProView Sports Report. We want to thank our director, Alden Iowani. We'll see you at the games, folks.